Oh dear Lord, she has a Bible in her hand, and she's touching it, and her hand is not burning. Oh my goodness, look, I can even prove it. Hand is perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it, and she even has held it in her hand and said that it is full of shit. And it's still not burning her hand. Look. Everything's fine. Yeah, Not being struck by lightning. Everything's good. Oh, this is wonderful. So, we're going to have a little Bible lesson today. And I'm going to put the camera over here so you can see my pretty face while I read to you. And I'm going to give you a little bit of food for thought while I'm reading these little passages. It's from the very book that made me an atheist, the Book of Numbers. And I'm reading the exact passage that made me an atheist. Chapter 31. And this particular chapter is about the Midianites. So, we shall begin. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take vengeance on the Midianites for the children of Israel. Afterward you shall be gathered to your people. So Moses spoke to the people, saying, Arm some of yourselves for war, and let them go against the Midianites to take vengeance for the Lord on Midian. Let me pause. If I were God, because, God He knows everything and loves everybody, and He can do anything He wants. If I were Him, I wouldn't have told Moses to have his people wage a war against Midian. I came up with something so much better. I would have just simply snapped my fingers, and every single person in Midian who ever had ties with Midian would have had an incurable case of chickenpox for the rest of their lives. And it would itch so bad. Anyway, 1,000 from each tribe of all the tribes in Israel you shall send to the war. So there were recruited from the divisions of Israel 1,000 from each tribe, 12,000 armed for war. Then Moses sent them to the war, 1,000 from each tribe. He sent them to the war with Phinehas, the son of Eleazar the priest. Remember him, he's important. With the holy articles and the signal trumpets in his hand. And they warred against the Midianites, just as the Lord commanded Moses, and they killed all the males. They thought they killed all the males. They killed the kings of Midian with the rest of those who were killed, Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian. Balaam, the son of Beor, they also killed with a sword. They stabbed him in the stomach. And the children of Israel took the women of Midian captive with their little ones, and took as spoil all their cattle, all their flocks, and all their goods. They also burned with fire all the cities where they dwelt, and all their forts. And they took all the spoil and all the booty of man and beast. Then they brought the captives, the booty, and the spoil to Moses, to Eleazar the priest, and to the congregation of the children of Israel, to the camp in the plains of Moab by the Jordan, across from Jericho. And Moses, Eleazar the priest, and all the leaders of the congregation went to meet them outside the camp. Dun dun dun. But Moses was angry with the officers of the army, with the captains over thousands and captains over hundreds who had come from the battle. And Moses said to them, Have you kept all the women alive? Look, these women caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to trespass against the Lord in the incident of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has known a man intimately. They must be pure. But keep alive for yourselves all the young girls who have not known a man intimately. This kind of sounds like Muhammad, doesn't it? I think so. I lost my place. Okay. And as for you, remain outside the camp for 7 days. Whoever has killed any person and whoever has touched any slain, purify yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day. And on the seventh day, purify every garment, everything made of leather, everything woven of goat's hair, and everything made of wood. Then Eleazar the priest said to the men of war who had gone to the battle, "This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord commanded Moses. Only the gold, the silver, the bronze, the iron, the tin, and the lead, everything that can endure fire, you shall put through the fire. And it shall be clean, and it shall be purified with the water of purification. But all that cannot endure fire you shall put through water, and you shall wash your clothes on the seventh day and be clean, and afterward you may come into the camp." So we've just instructed you to go kill thousands and thousands of people, babies included, non-virginal women included, but you're dirty now. Like, we told you to do this, but you're totally filthy, stinking dirty now. So you have to stay outside. You have to sleep outside like a dog for a week. And then you can come back in and, play around with your new playthings, the women and little girls from Midian. And then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Count up the plunder that was taken of man and beast, you and Eleazar the priest, and the chief fathers of the congregation, and divide the plunder into 2 parts, between those who took part in the war, who went out into battle, and all the congregation. And levy a tribute for the Lord on the men of war who went out to battle, 1 of every 500 of persons, the cattle, the donkeys, and the sheep. Take it from their half, and give it to Eleazar the priest, as a heave offering to the Lord." So wait a second. So Eleazar the priest, this, wow, man of God, received women and little girls and cows and donkeys and sheep as presents for killing all of the baby boys and little boys and men of Midian. He's rewarded with women. Oh. "And from the children of Israel's half you shall take 1 of every 50 drawn from the persons, the cattle, the donkeys, and the sheep, from all the livestock, and give them to the Levites, who keep charge of the tabernacle of the Lord." So Moses and Eleazar the priest did as the Lord commanded Moses. The booty remaining from the plunder which the men of war had taken was 675,000 sheep, 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 persons in all, of women who had not known a man intimately. 32,000 virgins. Allah really can't get to that level, huh? And the half, the portion for those who had gone out to war, was in number 337,500 sheep. So that's how many Eleazar's getting. So 337,500 sheep, and the Lord's tribute of the sheep was 675. Oh, excuse me, I made a mistake. The Lord's tribute, which went to Eleazar, was 675 sheep. The cattle were 36,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 72. The donkeys were 30,500, of which the Lord's tribute was 61. The persons were 16,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 32 persons. So Moses gave the tribute, which was the Lord's heave offering, to Eleazar the priest, as the Lord commanded Moses. So, let's do a tally. What did Eleazar get? What did he get as a prize for all of those little baby boys and their fathers and grandfathers and uncles and brothers being killed? What does Eleazar get? Oh my gosh, okay. Eleazar gets 75 sheep, 72 cows, 61 donkeys, and 32 gorgeous women. And let's not forget the little girls, because they're just so fun, aren't they? And from the children of Israel's half, which Moses separated from the men who fought. Now the half belonging to the congregation was 337,500 sheep, 36,000 cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 persons. And from the children of Israel's half Moses took 1 of every 50, drawn from man and beast, and gave them to the Levites, who kept charge of the tabernacle of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And then the officers, who were over thousands of the army, the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, came near to Moses, and they said to Moses, Your servants have taken account of the men of war who are under our command, and not a man of us is missing. Therefore we have brought an offering for the Lord, what every man found of ornaments of gold, armlets and bracelets and signet rings and earrings and necklaces, to make atonement for ourselves before the Lord. So Moses and Eleazar the priest, good old Eleazar, received the gold from them, and all the fashioned ornaments, and all the gold of the offering that they offered to the Lord, from the captains of thousands and captains of hundreds, was 16,750 shekels. The men of war had taken spoil, every man for himself. And Moses and Eleazar the priest received the gold from the captains of thousands and hundreds, and brought it to the tabernacle of meeting as a memorial for the children of Israel before the Lord. Wasn't that a lovely story? That was such a lovely story. You know, when people ask me why I became an atheist, I'm quick to say the Book of Numbers. I was actually having a discussion one day with a couple fellow classmates and a friend of my grandmother, who happened to substitute at my school quite a bit, and I love that woman to death. She's so sweet. So they asked me why I didn't believe in God anymore. And I was like, well, at this point, I don't know if I don't believe in him, but I don't like him. I hate the guy. And they were like, that is so sad. Why not? Oh, and their hearts are hurting for me and crying and oh goodness. So I told them the story of the Midianites. That is why I hate God. The story of the Midianites. And I told them the story. I actually, in those days, I took my Bible to school with me every day, and during my free periods, I'd study. Like, I'd find different passages, and I'd write just longhand, little philosophical things that would come to mind when reading certain passages. And that, I pulled it out and I read it to them, and they were like, okay, what's your point? I said, they went, on command of God, they went and killed all of these men, burned down their houses, burned down every building there, stole all of their stuff, kidnapped their wives and children, and then, Moses got pissed off and said, oh, no, gotta kill all the baby boys. And we're gonna keep all of the little girls and the women that have never had sex, and we're gonna give them as gifts and prizes to the priest and to the soldiers. First of all, people are not property, okay? They're not. Especially, I'm not going to say especially because it goes both ways, but the fact that they killed all of the men and then kept the women as prizes, and then they were given to the priest. Like, the priest, for one, had no part in it, from what I understand. Like, we just read it together now. Priest had no part in it, except, instruction. Why did he get anything to begin with? But why is a priest, a man of God, getting women and little girls as a prize? Explain that to me. And they said, well, do you know why that happened? And I said, no, I have not read the entire book of Numbers. So I don't know why God wanted to take vengeance on Midian. They said, well, I think you should read that part because it's important. You should know why they went. And you know what I said? It doesn't fucking matter. And then they got mad because you don't question God, especially not in eastern North Carolina. You don't question God. They got mad at me because I said, it doesn't matter what the reason was. It doesn't matter why they went and killed all of these people. It doesn't matter why they burned down their houses and kidnapped their wives and children and then killed all of the little baby boys. That doesn't matter. The reason doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, according to this book, it happened. And according to this book, it happened because God commanded it. And people worship Moses. Not worship, but they look up to Moses and they quote Moses as being such a wonderful, wonderful person and a wonderful role model from the Bible. And every single time I hear something good about Moses, I say, have you read the book of Numbers? Do you know the story of the Midianites? So for some reason my camera cut off while I was in the middle of my speech, and now I'm in the grocery store. A random place to be continuing a video, but it's a place. So anyway, as I was saying, Moses was an asshole. And you know, you can't even say that it's about interpretation, because I have had so many Christians tell me that the Old Testament is just a history. You know, when people say, I'm losing my train of thought here. People try to say things about the Old Testament, Christians get irritated and mad, and they're like, oh, that's not true, that's just the Old Testament, we don't follow that anymore, because Jesus came. Well, I gotta go. I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so now I'm outside. I think I'll sit by a tree. Sorry, I'm being a little bit Blair Witch Project right now. Alright. So, yeah, people say, oh, well, we don't follow the Old Testament rules because Jesus came back. And you know what? That's total bullshit, because the book of Matthew, I can't remember exactly what verse, but Jesus himself supposedly said that him coming wasn't discounting everything in the Old Testament. He was coming to reaffirm everything in the Old Testament. So, and I've had so many Christians tell me, oh, it's just a history, it's just a genealogy. So if that's the case, if it's just a history book, the Old Testament, especially the book of Numbers and the book of Genesis, they're supposedly just history books. There is no interpretation. You don't interpret a history book. You interpret a novel. You interpret a poem. These are not, by Christians, words only. These are not novels. These are supposedly fact. So if they're fact, there's no interpretation necessary. So don't tell me I'm interpreting it wrong. The entire book of Numbers, well, I'm not going to say that because, like I said, I haven't read the entire book of Numbers, but I'm just going to go all out and say the whole Bible is full of shit. And, yeah. I hope you enjoyed the little reading lesson there, and I know there was probably something I was going to say that I've forgotten now because I was interrupted in the middle of making this, and we had to bring my little sister to her tutor, which is fine. It's not a big deal, because I had to go to the grocery store anyway. I'm making Mexican rice tonight. But yeah, full of shit. It is full of shit. It's full of shit. Oh, I'm just sitting out here. I'm bored now. I'm just BSing. If you guys like this style of video, you know, the little Bible lesson thing, let me know, because I'd like to keep doing them. I enjoyed this, stimulating my brain. But I'm gonna go because I think my camera, the amount of time I can record is coming up short. So I will reconvene with you people. I'm quoting Anne Romney here. You people! I will reconvene with you people shortly. have a great day, and I hope you learned something. Bye. You people! I am so fucking bored right now. This video, there's probably nothing more worth watching on this video. I'm just totally bullshitting my time here. I'm bored out of my fucking mind. I think that's a pool. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm just filming for the hell of it. Trying to think of something meaningful to say here. I apologize for the shakiness of the video. Totally Blair Witch Project. Slightly Paranormal Activity. Because I think it was shaky for them sometimes. I loved those movies, all three of them. All three of the Paranormal Activities. They were awesome. I like horror movies. I'm a total pansy and a wuss, but I love horror movies. Like, I hate being scared, but I love being scared, if that makes sense. There's this movie called Dreamcatcher. It's based on a Stephen King novel of the same name. So good. And I love It. The Shining. There's another one, and I can't think of the name. Dang it. Playing with my earring here. Horrible habit, see? I don't know if you can see. When I yanked the backing off of it. Ah! I'm gonna lose it. Tiny little gold ball there. I am so bored, in case you people didn't notice. I keep quoting Anne. Oh, Anne. Oh, Mitt. Anne and Mitt. Mitt and Anne. That's such a weird name. Who names their kid Mitt? Is it Mitchell? Is it short for Mitchell or something like that? You'd think it would be, because Mitt just doesn't... it's like, what the hell? They must have been huge baseball fans. Which maybe they are. They so, I can't remember if Major League Baseball is sponsored by Pepsi or Coke. I can't remember. If it's Pepsi, then they probably are pretty damn big baseball fans. Because, you know, the Mormon Church owns Pepsi, I think. Yeah, because they own In-N-Out, and that is... They have Pepsi at In-N-Out. I wonder where my dad went. They went somewhere. There's a soccer game going on over there. Oh, that's the thing I thought was a pool. Not sure if it is or not. It sounds like it is. Sort of looks like it is an indoor pool. Which is weird. We don't have this kind of stuff in North Carolina. I miss North Carolina a little bit. I sort of even miss the humidity because I keep having these monster nosebleeds. It's ridiculous. Yesterday I got pretty freaked out because I woke up. Literally, I woke up because my nose is bleeding, and it was horrible. It was ridiculous. I'm sorry. I'm probably grossing you guys out. Bored out of my mind. I want a Frappuccino from Starbucks. Pizza's over there, though. I might go get something because I want something. But I just had chocolate eclair, and it wasn't really necessary, to say the least. Oh, goodness. I'm gonna go, because I think the time's almost up, so... Enjoy your day, and don't be bored like me. And guess what? I give you chicken pox!